So as always, we start just like this, very simple. Just sitting quietly without pressure. And slowing down. Shifting from trying to figure things out, comparing yourself, finding faults around you and in yourself. Shifting from that to just being here, just meeting yourself. Supported by a field of unconditional friendliness. And giving yourself the permission to do nothing. Just being with yourself in the most non-violent way. So stopping to add to the violence in this world by holding your experience and holding yourself most gently, most softly, most kindly. And with that friendliness, I invite you to gravitate with that into your body. So really down into your legs, into your feet, into your belly and your heart. Exploring what happens if you let go of the struggle with what is happening. And it is a possibility to make your breath the resting point you can return to. Without effort. And then quickly we can appreciate the stillness or the peacefulness which is always already there. once we let go somewhat of the identification with stressful thought. So it is a peacefulness, a stillness like the sky. Some people call it a field. It's a field which arises when we sit quietly together with others in the spirit of compassion, in the spirit of friendliness. And of course, there are thoughts, judgments, stories going on right now. But I invite you to emphasize the sensations in your body, the breath and the stillness. And maybe you can connect with the sense that nothing can disturb this stillness. Not the sounds from outside or my voice, not your own thoughts. Nothing can disturb the stillness, the vastness of the sky, the peacefulness of this moment. Befriending yourself. And sometimes you notice that you get carried away, that you are carried away by a story. Noticing that is not a problem. Sometimes it is so easy to let go. According to the Buddhist tradition, everything you need to be fulfilled, to be whole, to be complete, is available to you right now in this moment. And in that stillness, you can't find boundaries. And whatever arises calls for your presence. Nothing is excluded. So very simply, just being here with me. And being here happens by itself without any effort. Can you notice that everything happens by itself? The sounds outside, the sensations in your body, the thoughts. So you can relax. Notice the non-static, flowing, transitory nature of the content of your experience, changing moment by moment. Nothing solid, nothing concrete. Thoughts come and go. Sensations come and go. Sounds comes and go. And that what is aware does not come and go, like the sky. The vastness of your own being without boundaries, without center. Timeless. Explore what happens when you let this moment be just as it is. Notice how we respond to this sound. Can you maybe close the door? Last time we started to explore the rain model with these four ingredients of our mindfulness practice. And tonight I would like to look at and meditate upon the fourth point, non-identification, and approaching it from what is called the middle way school of Buddhism, the Madhyamika school. So I'm going to talk a little bit now, and then after the break I would like to guide a specific meditation on what is called in the Buddhist teachings emptiness. But I would like to start with a little story, which some of you have heard before. But it's a good story to illustrate what we are going to meditate upon. And it is a story about a female teacher in the Buddhist tradition. Her name is Dipa Ma. She is one of the very few so-called liberated, awakened female teacher in the Theravada tradition of Buddhism. And she passed away in, I don't know, 87, 88. And she was a simple Indian, I wanted to say Hausfrau, but and she was living in Calcutta with her daughter and her grandson. And she received some training earlier in her life in Burma when she was living in Burma. And then she started to teach, and her first students were housewives, her neighbors, Indian housewives. But then slowly there were also Western students coming to that little apartment in Calcutta. People like Jack Cornfield or Joseph Goldstein, Sharon Salzberg, who are now known teachers in the mindfulness tradition. And they invited her to the United States. And she came twice. And on her first trip, Sharon Salzberg, who was her host, showed her around in New York. And it was her first time in the West. So a simple Indian woman in a white sari, very tiny, first time flying, first time New York, first time supermarket. And then Sharon Salzberg brought her, to show off a little, brought her to what was then one of the first automatic teller machines in New York, Bancomat. So Sharon Salzberg did her thing, put the card in, typed the numbers, and Dipa Ma was standing there and looking at this, saying, "It's so sad. It's so sad." And then Sharon Salzberg asked her, "What is so sad?" And Dipa Ma answered, "This poor person, which is sitting there inside of the machine the whole day, without light, without air, taking your card, reading it, and then handing you back the money." And Sharon Salzberg said, No, there is no person inside. It's just this process happening." And then Dipa Ma said, "That's what the Buddha meant with his teachings on selflessness, on emptiness. There is no person behind the process." So, and that's, in a way, what we do in mindfulness practice is we take the machine apart, we take the automatic teller machine apart, screwdrivers, wanting to liberate that prisoner, wanting to be free, wanting to liberate that prisoner. And we take it apart and we assemble all the parts around us. And then it dawns on us, there never was a prisoner. If there is no prisoner, then there is no prison. So the process we are looking at But Sharon Salzberg says, yeah, there is this process happening, so it is functioning, but there is no person behind it, no person inside. So the process we are looking at in mindfulness practice is our experience, the thoughts we have, the sensations in your body, the sounds. And already on a initial level, like in the meditation we just did, when you become aware that there's nothing solid, nothing concrete in the experience. Sensations change, thoughts change, stories change. Then already it can dawn upon us that there must be something wrong with this sense that there is a solid, concrete me here to whom my life is happening, separate from my thoughts, separate from the sensations. So what is being said in the teachings on what is called emptiness is that this moment, just this moment, as it is, just this moment, does not exist in the way it appears to you. And because you believe that it exists in the way it appears to you, we are stressed, we are afraid, we tense, we contract, we act in selfish ways, we judge. So it is this, what is called ignorance, this confusion, this basic confusion about this moment, which creates all the trouble in our world, all the trouble in your life, and all the trouble in the world. So how does this moment appear to you? Or maybe I can say from my perspective, this moment appears to me as if there is me here, somewhere in the body, the me which has my eyes, which has my body, which is being judged by you. Like if I imagine now, I would say something very stupid, which is very likely. I can feel it. The me. What do they think? Will they come back? Next time I'm sitting here alone. Or if it's going well, the me which thinks, wow, this was really a great evening. I was really good. Yeah. So there is a sense that this, you are separate, you are distinct, separate me's, selves, and there's a distinct separate self here. And because I'm identified with this self, it becomes the most important, the most cherished, the most... May I introduce you to the center of the universe? It's here. What happens to this is much more important than what's happening to the other cells, from my perspective. So I really worry about, and I'm very concerned about what is happening to this seemingly solid, separate me, separate from everything else. And I'm working hard on making this me happy, trying to arrange my life in a way that this me is happy, demanding other people to act in certain ways so that this me is happy. And then I'm so afraid. So much fear. So when we talk about emptiness, what emptiness means, so emptiness is not nothingness. Emptiness never means nothing exists or things don't matter or this is just an illusion or something like this. That's not what emptiness means. So emptiness means, in the teachings, the Buddhist teaching on emptiness means that things are empty of existing in a solid, inherent, independent way. And I am empty of this kind of existence, as everything else. So I lack, if I search, I lack that solid, independent core. In the same way, if I investigate into any other phenomenon, they lack that solid, inherent core, which seem to be there, independent from my mind, making it into what it is for me. A little bit more simple, what I just said. Things appear to me right now as if they have qualities from their side, as if they exist from their own side, independent from me making it into what it is. So things appear to me as if they are beauty or ugly or whatever from there. So I make it, but then I forget. And then it appears back to me as if these qualities I see in things, as if they are somehow attached to the things out there. But what we are going to do after the break is that we are starting with the biggest troublemaker, and that is the identification with a solid, independent core, me. And we are going to do it by just looking into our experience, looking for it, searching for it. And the way we are going to do it is that the first step is to become more familiar with how this appearance solid me appears to you, how you experience it. And it is there all the time. It is there right now. Like if you kind of go a little bit, you have a sense that you look through your eyes, that you have your eyes. and that this is happening to you as some kind of, and it's the same. It's the same self as yesterday or 1 year ago. Yeah, there is this kind of, it's like it's a contraction in your body mind. But this contraction becomes more appealing to us when we are attacked. So after the break, I will invite you to go into situations, either remember them or bring them up, or imagine them, where you felt accused. It's something like, "How dare you to say this to me? To me, you little, to me." Yeah. Or moments of fear. Oh, I think I can't. I can't pay these bills. I can't pay these bills. I don't have enough money. Or what? Uh, another scenario is, I'm wonderful. I'm great. In a contracted way. So that is this beginning of this meditation will be the first step where you start to get a sense of what we are talking about when we talk about the apparent, inherent, solid, self-existing self. And then we are going to look for it. So we take apart the machine. So let's, since it's not so confronting to you to do it with me, so I do it with me now. So it makes sense to, if we look for this self, to look here, right? So let's establish that. So it does not make sense to look there. So then we look into the body. So let's take my body apart. So we take the skin, a bucket with blood, some bones, the meat, nicely cut, the hair on one pile. So that's the machine. Yeah? So that's the machine. And we are looking for oneself. We are looking for me, for the self, and that's one. So now when we take this body apart and we look for Stefan, which part is it? There's many parts. It's the brain, of course. So let's take the brain. So then we cut the brain into parts. So in which one is it? Which one is the cell? So if you don't like this kind of bloody visualization, you can also imagine your body as this community of cells. It's like millions. It's a community of millions and millions of cells. And they work together. And actually, as you know, 7 years ago, this community was, everyone has moved out. It's a completely different new community. Nothing is the same. But we still have the sense. It's me 7 years ago. It's the same. It's me. So you can do it also on that cellular level. Just spread out your cells. And which one is me? Of course, then you might think, yeah, I always knew it's in the mind. So let's look at the mind. Let's look at this mind. So if you look at my mind, oh God, no, better not. But let's look at my mind. So there's memories, there's stories, there's worries, there's according to the one system in the Buddhist psychology, describes 51 mental factors, which is like 51 different capacity of the mind. And it's changing moment by moment. My memories are all inaccurate. Didn't happen like that. It's just stories. All my worries are mainly about things which will never happen. My feelings change. So also when we look into our mind, we don't find a core. We don't find a control center. We don't find the self to which thoughts are happening. There is no thinker. There are thoughts happening, but there is no separate thinker. They have been looking for that a lot, of course, in neuroscience, for a kind of control center. But there isn't. There is this process going on, exactly as in this story of Deepa Ma. There is this process going on, but there is no person behind. So that is the meditation. And so we search for the solid me, the person who has your problems, the person who is stressed, the person to whom this is happening, and then we don't find it. And this not finding, the absence of a solid concrete me, a separate me, which is like me against the rest of the universe, that is such a relief. That's like putting down the burden. It's like the relief you might have if you work like crazy to liberate this person in the machine, and then you find out there is no. It's like, and according to the Buddhist teachings, what I just described, there's of course different way to approach this, is the only way to go for us if we want to really ease the stress and the heaviness and the self-centered concern and the contraction in our life. So this is an important key. If it does not make sense right now for you, that's fine. So we need to know there's different words and different concepts and different meditations to go into that direction. But according to the Buddhist teachings, this is really this is the heart of the teachings. This is the door to love, to really unconditional love. This is the door to compassion, to true compassion. Yes, so I guess there's some questions, but maybe we don't need to go into debate right now, but have a break, and then after the break, I will lead this meditation, and then after the meditation, we can you can defend the me. Okay, let's have a break. It's fine with me, yes. So I invite you to go along with this meditation, really easygoing, relaxed. It's not about doing it right. And if it's too complicated for you and you rather prefer to just rest here, then you can just let it flow, my voice. And if you get lost at one point, then just let go and follow there where I am then. It's also more, we're doing the meditation, but it's also a way for learning how to do it. So if that speaks to you, then you can do it for yourself. So it's more an attitude of playing, of experimenting. Of course, there's also the opportunity to be enlightened. But don't worry, it will come back again. Yeah? So if you miss it this time.
Is it something you can attain?
Yeah, maybe discover is a better word, to discover. So let's spend a few moments just sitting quietly with each other. Just enjoying the presence, which arises when we sit in the spirit of friendliness. Noticing the softening, the relaxation when you let go of the need to do something. And just notice your own energy now after the break, talking and connecting. And then there's a breath. And noticing the openness of this moment. And then I invite you to remember or imagine a situation where you are accused, where where you feel the need to defend yourself, where you feel the need to have a strong opinion, and where you need to feel the need to be right. And then sense into your body, into your mind, into your body mind. This me, how does it appear to you? How dare you to say this to me? I want to be right. This I. How does it appear to you? Not investigating into it, just sensing it, sensing the me which wants to be right. The me which feels ashamed. Might be a contraction you sense. And the second situation I invite you to imagine is a moment of fear about money or job, an exam. So the me, the self, the I. How does it appear to you? Notice how there is the thing happening, and then there is the me, the I, to which it is happening. So we're looking to that to which it is happening. Another possibility is the poor me. Why is this happening to me? Poor me. Why is this happening to me? So you don't need to think about it so much, rather sense the solid, separate me, poor me. And then in the second part of this meditation, we are going to search for this self, for this solid, separate me. In the first place we are searching for it is the body. We're looking for oneself, and we're looking within the body. So the body we can take apart. The skin, the bones, the meat, the blood, the other fluids, the brain. So get a sense of the many different parts of your body. And where's the self? Where's the owner of the body? We say my body. This is my body. So who owns your body? So when we search in the body, we find many parts, but we are looking for one self. Which part of the body is the self? Another approach to this is to realize the body as a community of millions of cells. And there is no self which is separate from these millions of cells. So when we search within the body, we can't find that separate solid self. We can't find the me. So the second place where we are looking for is the mind. Let's look at the mind. So the experience you have right now, thoughts, sensations, feelings, memories, names, stories, 51 mental factors, a stream of awareness changing moment by moment. But we are looking for oneself, the me which feels attacked, the self-pity me. So again, when we look into the mind, we find many things changing moment by moment, nothing solid, nothing concrete. So also within the mind, we don't find a solid concrete self. We don't find the owner of the mind. I am thinking, as if there's an I, a me, separate from the thoughts. I am sad, as if there is a separate solid I to whom sadness is happening. So searching for the solid separate me, what we find is the absence of a solid separate me. And this absence is like a gap. A moment of relief, putting down the burden of self-centeredness. Imagine to put down the burden. Imagine to put down the burden of separateness. What you are left with is openness. Nothing is being taken away except the stress. Imagine to put down the burden of self-concern. not finding boundaries. Instead, interconnectedness. Not being a separate wave, but the ocean. Nothing is changing. Sounds and thoughts and feelings. But it happens to nobody. Then only kindness makes sense. Because it's all you. Sounds and thoughts, sensations in your body. Happening to nobody. Any comments or questions? Yes.
According to the traditional teachings, if there is no self, what is it that goes on, and what's reborn? What are we doing all the work
I have no idea. But I don't even need to ask what is being reborn. I can already ask what is giving me the sense of continuity right now. Who is there for the next moment? This is a moment of rebirth, a moment of being reborn. But I can't find, right now, I can't find that center which jumps from just the moment before to this moment. But nevertheless, there's a continuity. So, and this continuity is being held together by the sense of separateness. It's held together by me, by labeling it. That's the separate me. So that's like the power which holds this stream of experiences together. It's called the merely labeled I. The merely labeled I.
So the continuity wouldn't be there if we didn't have this?
Yes, actually, when you would approach this from the Theravada tradition, in the moment where you realize selflessness, then this continuity stops. It goes on out of habit until the rest of your life, and then it's finished. There's no rebirth anymore, because that kind of putting it together does not happen anymore. But in the Mahayana tradition, you replace, or you replace this this holding it together out of self-centeredness with love. You hold it together because of love. So the glue of holding the stream together becomes love, compassion. So that's what the stream then, this stream is being held together, instead of, in our case, instead by self-centeredness, by love. Something like that.
And in the Theravada tradition, when the stream stops, it sounds a little scary, or is it I guess it's a good thing, right?
Yes, because with that, suffering stops. It's an extinction.
And
Nothing.
That's good. But the logical question would then be, who is suffering?
Nobody is suffering. So nobody separate solid is suffering.
Why then this emphasis on saving people who are sentient beings who are suffering, if nobody is suffering?
Nobody solid separate is suffering, but suffering happens. Just this moment happens. So for a person who is in pain right now, for this person, this is real. So in a way, it is waking other people up from a nightmare.
But who are you waking up?
I can't find that person which you wake up.
And why the necessity to wake somebody up?
The dream exists.
But then again, you are that. So there's no need to worry.
That's right.
So you don't need to worry for yourself, and you don't need to worry for others.
So where we go from there then? Still there seems to be, out of that big relaxation, goodness seems to happen.
What are you waiting for?
Me personally?
Yeah.
You think I'm waiting for something?
I'm just asking.
Yeah,
It's an open question.
yeah. What are you waiting for?
It's what I'm not waiting for.
Does it make sense for you that goodness happens?
If nothing else in this moment exists, how can you be waiting for it?
Yeah.
No need for waiting for it.
But don't we also need to understand the concept of the middle way, that emptiness is not that nothing exists, but it's that it does exist as it appears to us. So it's not that. That's how I understand it. It's not non-existence is wrong and existence is wrong. The truth is somewhere in between. That's how I read it anyway.
So are we still in this question?
I'm not sure.
No, you're not sure. Yeah. So for you, what he said sounded like nothing exists.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm.
And I have a question myself.
But is it that what you mean? Nothing exists?
It's very hard for me to convey it in words. But whenever I try to express it, it's wrong.
It's
wrong.
Yeah.
Because when you label it, I divide things up.
Yeah.
Then it can never be.
Yes.
So I don't know what.
So the Buddha got away with saying it neither exists nor does it not exist.
So it's not in between.
No, it's without position. The middle way is not in between. So if we can come to the conclusion nothing exists, that is a position. It's an extreme position. It's called nihilism. The other extreme position is things exist solidly, concretely in the way they appear to us. So that is reification. That's the way we usually live our life.
Yeah, because that's what we call materialism.
Yes. Yeah. So, and then when we start to dive into the teachings on emptiness, it might happen that sometimes we come into that space, or also kind of to make it, to kind of, we fall into that other extreme. So instead of holding things separately, we say nothing exists. But that's not what he means.
Okay.
It just sounds like this sometimes. Because obviously this exists. Yeah, and your question?
Well, I was discussing this topic with a good friend of mine, who's like a philosophy student, and when I tried to explain to him this taking things apart, looking for the inherent self in the mind and the body,
Yeah.
his reply, I couldn't really, I didn't know what to say to it, but his reply was that in his view, it was the wholeness
Yeah.
that made up the self. Like
Yeah.
if you take a piece of music, if you take apart the notes,
Yes.
then it's the sound.
That's right.
It's the wholeness.
Yes.
And then I didn't really know how
Yes.
to reply to that.
But this wholeness, no? Where is that?
Mm.
So that wholeness is our mind creating, giving it a name, making it into something. And that projection that exists as a projection. So that's how you can say, when you ask the question, okay, now we have discovered that things don't exist in a separate solid way, but how do they exist? They exist merely labeled by mind. Is that?
Well, it's a complex subject.
Yes, but, so your friend is right. It's the wholeness.
Mm.
But the wholeness is a creation of your mind.
Mm.
It's your mind cutting out a piece of the oneness and making with a crayon, making around something and call it, this is this and that song.
Mm.
And so in that moment we become co-creators of reality. We make it into what it is for us. And that's right. Your friend is right. But that's not how it appears to us. It appears to us as if it is a thing from the side of the thing.
That makes sense.
This is good news. Yeah.
I'm just thinking how you act in daily life. Because it seems so.
Yeah.
This intellect.
Yes.
Without the world falling apart in a way, or making the world fall apart, or because it could be difficult to take things seriously sometimes, or to take them as they appear to be, or as I'm used to them. It can. How do you act on it sort of like concrete? It's a big question.
But name a situation. The world is very concrete.
Let's, for example, take the topic of money.
Yes, for example,
Yeah.
start thinking about money like that.
Yeah. So
it as an object.
Yeah. So if you have been exploring this and you have reflected upon this first on the intellectual level, but then actually also going into that relief which comes with the insight that the seriousness of money is made up. It's a cultural construct. It's a construction. So then slowly that insight, if it's in the meditation and in the reflection, it's really experienced in the body, like it's that you feel a kind of relief. Then you will start to notice that you will take money less serious. That's right. But nevertheless,
They exist.
yeah, nevertheless, it functions.
Yeah.
So it's not that you know, get a piece of toilet paper and go into the shop and say, hey, this is no money, it's just socially constructed. Let's now agree on this is money. That's not how it works. Yeah. So realizing that things are socially constructed does not mean that we lose our capability to move in that socially constructed world. Yeah.
But does it?
Hmm?
I came a bit to a point where I thought about money and started giving them away.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, but in this real world, we need them to pay the rent.
Yes.
And then I just thought,
Yeah.
where's the limit? Because then you have the other place where you start holding on, and then you have the
Yes.
thing, and then, oh my god, again, my money, and my this and that.
Yeah.
I think this balance is kind of.
Yeah, it can maybe happen that you have some moments of being unrealistic then. Yeah. But you will get the feedback.
That you don't have the money.
Yeah. Yes. So you will get the feedback, and then you know, yeah, it's empty. It's empty, but it is functioning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is. It might be rather the experience that you become more that you become, because the stress falls away, that you become actually more skillful in working with the socially constructed world, while really seeing it is socially constructed. So that would be also maybe a difference to a person who would be called crazy. So a person who would be called crazy, that's of course also a social construction to call someone crazy. But a person who is crazy wouldn't have that insight that, yes, it's all made up, it's all constructed, but it functions, it works. And when I do something, it has consequences. Yes.
Just a question about what about physics, biochemics? Is it possible to say that it has like not an essence? It has function, but it has function in itself. Isn't it hard to say that that's a social construction, just as diseases and bacteria? Because it has something, a life on its own, like minerals and rocks and trees, that these are social constructions.
Yes, so like a table, for example.
Yeah.
So the table.
The function of the table is what we made up.
Yes. Right. Yes.
But mineral iron.
So mineral is also a name.
Yeah. That's
so.
But it has a function, though.
Yes. Right. It has a function. But then, if you look for a kind of essence in the mineral, which makes it the mineral from its own side, what you find is nothing. You find atoms, and you look for the atoms, and then you go deeper and deeper, and you don't find a solid core. It is functioning. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. But it's also functioning without the social construction, without people naming it or labeling it or making it a table, making it a...
That's debatable, and you will never.
Another rock without the floor.
Yes, and you will not. You will never be able to find a rock independent from mind, because it won't be a rock. But let's drop the rock. To drop the name, you will never find anything independent from mind, because that's the only way for you to look. So in the Buddhist tradition, or in some Buddhist schools, it's clearly said something for something in order to exist, there needs to be mind. Nothing exists independent from mind. So say what that says is there is not like a solid independent world out there which we look at. It seems that physics also comes to that conclusion more and more. Huh? That there is not a solid, that there is not an independent world out there, independent from consciousness.
Quantum mechanics.
So it seems that they go into the direction that like the ground is kind of consciousness or awareness. But I don't know. But it's true that I will never find out, because in order to look, I need to use mind. I can never say, is there a world outside of mind?
Like you can never know if the light really turns off and it goes.
You have to be fast.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's stop here. And this is an open-ended question. Yeah. So an open-ended question. It's not that we are looking for. Now I understood it. So it's an open-ended question. The teachings on emptiness are an open-ended question, and that's unsettling for us. We would like to have an answer. That's how it is. So it's that open-endedness. It's asking this question, investigating. Yeah. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope I confused you sufficiently. And so next time we just watch the breath.